Okay, hey team, Hermitarius here. This is a test video. If it works, I'll post it. If it doesn't, I'll go have a nap. Um, the last video I took froze, but the audio kept going, so I'm just wanting to make sure everything is smooth before I make the video I really want to make. So I'm going to talk about my Paperblanks journals in the meantime, because I got a new shipment of journals. And so this is my very first Paperblanks journal. I got this like 10 years ago, and it sat empty, or basically empty, for 9 years, and then I filled it up in 9 months with astrology. Okay, so this book is the Grolier. I don't know if that'll focus. This is a Grande format, 240 page blank, and so I filled it, oh, you can't even see that. I filled it all up with astrological notes. And from there, I've had, oh my, I've got 2 more of those. So one of these is filled up. More astro notes. And then this is one of my current notebooks. So I'm going to hopefully fill this one in later today and post a video if the camera will work. So I would have liked to keep getting like this style for my notes, but that's not always available, and I usually get the book that's on sale, and it just hasn't been the one that's on sale lately. But also I noticed when I was reaching for this book the last few months, I didn't have that excitement of like, ooh, my book. So it's okay to like be moving on. But these are my Groliers. Oh, we can compare kind of how they look from the 10-year-old version, which is very ridgy, like very constructed. It's a bit darker. And then the newer ones is a bit more shallow. It doesn't feel quite as heavy duty. Yeah, the older one has, and like I guess that's possible that that's from where that's from me, but it is kind of more defined, the embossing, than these ones, which seem a bit shallower. There's clasps on the sides of these books, and because I was using this so often, opening it like this and having the clasps underneath while I was writing, they ended up breaking off. So in the second book that I used, I ended up turning it upside down. I've printed out ephemerides and posted them in my book. I put them upside down so that the clasps kind of were protected by the spine of the book, like that's the same height. And they stayed on. So if you're gonna get one of these clasp books and you're using it to like take notes out in the wild, I would turn it upside down so that you protect the locks on them, because otherwise they will break off. So those are the Groliers. And then I have these 2 books. This one is filled. This became kind of my Pluto book, kind of my dream journal, and then it was just essentially my journal. These are also Grande sizes. This is 120 page, and this is another 240 page. This one's just got the one clasp at the top. So this one's all filled up. And then this is my tarot book, which is not filled up. I have run out of the pens I like to use. But I have some like number theory in the beginning, and then I have these Etsy stickers throughout the book with the idea that I would have like 5, talking about the number 5 in general. 6, talking about the number, so on. And I don't know if I'm still going to do that, like here's all the queens, or if I'm going to do like this is put some spreads in here and it's on the queens page. I'm not sure. But anyway, one day this will be filled as my tarot reference. What I've got going in the beginning here are some notes on like the symbolism. So all the birds that show up in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and all the laurel leaves, and how many people are wearing hats, etc. So anyway, there's my Paperblanks tarot journal. What is this one? They all have names, you know. The Maya Blue. This texture's a little bit shallow as well, but it's nice. It's not too rough. This one's got like a lovely gold pickup accent in it. And its texture is also quite nice. And now we can talk about some moon journals. This was my original moon journal. It's just like a bullet journal that I got from an art store. And then I just opened it up kind of to the middle one day, late 2021, and learned about the moon and put in the full and new moons as they were coming up. And then I would go through after each of my full and new moon rituals and like write a little blurb. And then I kind of stopped doing that. But this took me probably, I think, almost through to a year. And then I needed to move to a different one. And so I got this one. This is a ultra 240 page. This is the Azure. I really like this one. I like how thick it is. I like how bendy it is. This texture is nice. The gold is lovely. This took me about 2 years to fill, and now it's empty. I got to the last page. We're done. So I need a new moon journal, which is why I bought the new journals, to have some new stuff to play around with. And so let's talk about the new ones that came in. These are each the same size, an ultra flexi, but these ones are 120 pages, and they're very stiff. And I don't think this one was that stiff when I got it. This one seems to either want to fold up or fold down. I thought this would be more embossed. And maybe it is on the harder journals, but like that's so cool. That's okay. It's cool. I like the gold in it. It is a little rough, and like it's got a sound to it that the ones I prefer kind of don't. So I'm not sure what I'm going to put in here yet. I got all of these on the Black Friday sale, and then of course they took a million years to get here because of Canada Post Pure Later issues. Anyway, this one I like a little bit better. It's not as stiff as this one. I really like the gold pickup on it. I really like the design. I'm not sure if I'm going to make one of these my new moon journal or if I'm going to put it in a bigger book. I really don't know yet. But full moon's not for a week, or new moon's not for a week, so I got time. I also picked up this book thinking it was like much bigger, and it's been a few different things. I've tried to like do some study in it, some midpoint stuff, and now it is actually like my hormone tracker. So for people that are tracking hormones, I've got like day 11 of my cycle, day 12 of my cycle, day 13 of my cycle, and I can put in week after, or cycle after cycle after cycle, all of those things. So this is called a guest book format, 144 pages, Turquoise Chronicles. This is also very nice to touch. and it's got like almost like an inlay in the little blues. Anyway, beautiful. There was a pen in it and I like stepped on it, and so I broke the spine a little bit. But out of all of these books, this is the like only one in the first one that's been damaged. And like I don't know if you could see like the corners of mess. I am not a tidy person, so pretty good for me. Works all right for me. This one gets an honorable mention. It's not a Paperblanks book, but it is my first tarot journal. So not only was I recording my readings, but I was like writing down how to do spreads and like theory of tarot. And then a lot of my tarot readings are tied in with my like moon practice, and so they just go into the moon book. But like honorable mention to the first little book that you start with. And that brings us to the last journals. So these ones I already bought. This one is also on the go. I had thought I think this one's called Knox. This is also a Grande format unlined. Instead of clasps, it has elastic. I thought I would be doing kind of more consultations, but like I don't really like it, earlier in my life. And so this was going to be like my consultation book that I would bring as my like reference pages when I'm sitting with someone, as opposed to a notebook that I'm studying from, which are the other books. And then I didn't really do that. And now it's just become like a few different things. I think I try and put more Martian things in here. Here is a breakdown I will go over at some other point of the essential dignities and the gates from human design, gene keys, and lunar mansions and decans. So that's in here. I was trying to learn the fixed stars for a little while, so there's some like constellation stuff in here, and like learning how the sky works. And then I just stopped that, so I'm leaving space to continue, but who knows. And then I started putting more reflections, like I put a Mars Pluto reflection in here, I put my Venus return in here, different stuff like that. So this one's still on the go. So I have two of these big books with like maybe a third of each book left over for me to fill in for more notes or more study or more recordings, whatever it is I'm doing. And what I did notice about this book when I got it is that when I unwrapped it out of the plastic, it smelled so strongly of glue. I like put it away for a while because I couldn't even be near it. And then it off-gassed, and then it was fine. And so I got another one because it was on sale. And I did not notice as strong of a smell on this one, but there was still like a little bit, more than any other book that I've got from them. So I don't know what that's about. But these feel very similar in quality, like not a big difference between years. Yeah, very nice. So I'm not sure which book will become, oh, my stack is falling down, my new like journal once these are full, because I also have these books. So this one, what's this one called? The Aurelia, another elastic band one. This one I have printed out from the library, charts that I've copy pasted and cropped together in Google from AstroSeek to make a self-study book. So I've got different events written down, and then I have a few years of solar return charts with my progressions to do a study like over time about what's going on with them. So this book is kind of lying in wait for when I have the pens I want to use and like have, I guess, the desire to sit down and do that kind of study. And so I have this second one, And what I notice immediately is that it's a lot rougher. This this motif here has a lot more rough texture to it. And what I've always liked about this one is that it's so shiny and rainbowy. Like if I get it in the light right, all these little dots have like a rainbow kind of gold shimmer to them. And what I noticed when I was playing with this one, when I unwrapped it, is it did not seem to have quite the same shine happening. Like it's just not picking it up the same. And on this one, there's like bands of shimmer almost, and it just doesn't look like it's on this one at all. Yeah, it's a little bit rougher, which isn't bad. I do prefer the smoother one over the rougher one, but if I didn't already have this one to compare it to, I wouldn't think anything was going on with this. I would think it was fine. So between these two new ones, these two empty ones, I'm not sure which one will become my new like astro journal, study journal for astrology, tarot, and human design. I'm not sure yet. But I did get 2 more. I usually get 2 journals because that takes me to like 2 or 3 journals, because if you spend over $50 you get free shipping. But this was the Black Friday deal, so I got 6 journals for like $60 delivered to me, which is why I have so many. And so these are also grande format, but they are 176 pages. So they're a little bit thinner. They have elastic closures in them. Oh, all of these books also have like an envelope in the back for storage. This one is very rough. Rough. Very noisy. But it's got a good glint to it. It picks it up all right. I feel like it could be shinier, but that's okay. And then this one is very pretty. Very gold. I feel like there's a bit of a rainbow glint trying to happen in some of these. Like how the older version of this has rainbow in the little dots, but the newer version is not as shiny. I feel like maybe that's happening here. A lot of different textures on this one. I like it though. So the things I need to have a journal for, because my moon journal is full, my like daily journal is full. I've been doing more spiritual practice, so I want to have a place to like record whatever's coming through. I kind of want to consolidate my like daily tracker, my moon tracker, and my hormone tracker. I've also been thinking lately, I want a game book, a book to like write down my maps in, and like the prices of things in the undersea, you know? So maybe one of these thin ones will become like my game book. Oh, maybe one of the flexis will become a game book. Yeah, that'll be fun. And yeah, then I get to play around with whatever happens. It was really nice having a dedicated astro journal in that first book, because there's no like journaling in it. It's just information. There is personal chart reflections based on what I was learning. But what I've done with all the other books is like it's a little bit of information and it's a little bit of like personal journaling. So I couldn't just hand that book to someone and be like, here's some astro notes. I would want to be like, no, not that page, don't read that page, you know. And so that is a little bit frustrating, but it's also frustrating when I'm looking for a journal to see like a journal that I own and be like, no, I can't use that one. That's not the right one. Whereas like it's quite nice to just pick up a book and put whatever you want in it. So I'm not sure what direction I'm going to go, but I've got options and I've got about a week to figure out which one is going to be the new moon journal, the new lunar journal. And it might be a big one, you know, because then it'll last a long time as well. So I'll have just the one reference to be able to flip through, which was also nice about the 2-year moon journal. I didn't have to go get a different book to be like, well, what happened at the last Taurus, whatever. I could just flip through that one book. Okay, that is all of my Paperblanks journals. To recap, sorry about this really tight angle. Oh! To recap, these are the new ones, and I'm very excited. So if you want to talk Paperblanks or journals, hit me up. Okay, I hope this worked. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.